Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
This is our 40th year as CEO or founder of a food franchisor brand. Our first company was over 650 open locations. But what I love about that, now this is 40 years, and she's had franchisees that have stuck with her for 40 years because she created such a good low-cost model. And nobody runs a business really for 40 years, right? Most of them are passing these on to their kids. That's the dream of mine. How do we create a model that the overhead is so low waste, low cost of goods, low labor, that this does weather the storms and weathers those recessions, so we can create generational wealth for our franchisees?
Cinderella story. Out of nowhere, former groundskeepers about to be the Masters champions. The Nice Guys on Business podcast. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by TurnKey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
All right, Nice Guy community, let's take a trip down memory lane for just a moment. Now, let's head back. Now, our guest today, Bennett Maxwell, he may not remember this because he may not have been born at this point, but back in the summer of 1980, did I get you? Are you pre or post 1980?
I'm 92.
That's okay, cool. So he doesn't have a clue what the fuck I'm talking about then. Back in the summer of 1980, and my first real job, I mean, technically it was the second W-2 job I had, but it's the first one that I actually worked with the public. I worked at a store called The Great Cookie, and it was at the Reisterstown Road Plaza. Now, fast forward 40 plus years, I'm part of the Dirty Dough Cookie Outreach Program, and Bennett Maxwell, now one of his handlers, I guess I'm going to call him your handler, maybe your PR agent or an agency or just a guy that you got on the side that kind of helps put things together. He reached out to me and he was trying to pitch me on the idea. And I said, hey, you could have stopped at cookie and I would have had Bennett on the show. We're going to talk cookies. Now, cookies engineered from the inside out. We're going to talk about those, but we're also going to talk about the business opportunity in cookies too. Let's talk to one tough cookie. Welcome, Bennett, to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you for that background. Yeah. Full circle.
Hate
cookies.
The fact that 1992, fuck, man, that makes me like super, super old, really old. I don't want to talk about that, but cookies were so cool. I remember as a kid just loving cookies, and when I had the opportunity to actually interview with Jeffrey Atman, the guy that ran The Great Cookie in Baltimore, I'm like, this is a great job. I actually am standing in a store. I have a product that usually has people that are 4, 5, 6 rows deep that wanted to buy cookies, and the exchange of communication. And it was like me and my partner, the guy that was working at the same time as I was. Sorry, we'll give you a chance to talk in a second. Me and my partner, we would just make jokes, and the entire time we're getting the crowd to laugh at the same time that we're selling them cookies. And the whole idea of this cookie concept was brand new at the time. And fast forward to the Dirty Cookie and all the stuff that you guys have put together over the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 years now. Is that how long you guys have been around?
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at the whole comes full circle. It's a cool business. How did you even tell me a little bit about your run up to the world of cookies? Because you're not a cookie guy turned business guy. You're a business guy turned cookie guy.
Yeah. So here in Utah, the cookie market started exploding with a company called Chip, and they were doing these giant warm cookies served fresh, delivered to your door. Then Crumble came shortly after that, and they started exploding and franchising, and they're crushing it. Somebody that I went to high school with moved to Arizona. I was in Utah, moved to Arizona, started a cookie company, giant cookies served out of his apartment. And he posted on Facebook and said, I'm interested in an investor to open my first storefront. So other than giving him some money, I never really was a part of it at all. I was running a solar business in San Diego, and Crumble had opened up in San Diego. And then we just opened up that first store in Tempe, Arizona, March of 2020. It was like Wednesday. Our grand opening was scheduled for Friday, and Wednesday was like the national, shutdown for COVID.
Oh, geez.
Anyways, I was like, whatever, it's delivery, we're doing fine. hey, let's franchise this. I'm going to be your first franchisee in San Diego. This Crumbs crushing it. It looks like a great market. And he goes, you know what? This sucks. I want to sell. So
you bought an existing company that never got off the ground.
I thought, what the hell? I just listened to a podcast and it said true wealth is created by buying real estate and businesses. And I purchased, maybe I had a handful of properties at the time, but I never bought a business. And I thought, you know what? I have some extra capital. I'm gonna take a swing at this. Mm-hmm. And the goal was I'm gonna buy this and make it super, super simple. Because I did look at the Crumble franchise model very briefly, and they lost me as soon as they told me it's owner operated. So you have to move out of state. That has to be your full-time job.
Oh, like, you can't be an investor. You have to be an operator.
Yes. And I'm like, well, how's that scalable? Where's the time? I don't want to buy a job. So when I saw this opportunity to buy Dirty Dough, I'm like, I'm going to go the opposite route of Crumble. I'm going to simplify the hell out of everything. So that way I can have more people like me. I know how to run a business. I don't know how to bake cookies, nor do I want to learn. But if I can simplify the model, then I can have a much better franchise model. So we franchised 18 months ago is all. We have 21 stores opening. Opened. We are opening like about 2 or 3 a week right now. We've sold 360. It's really taking off due primarily to the simplicity of what we're doing.
Dude, first of all, a couple things that happened in my brain as you were starting to talk. Number one, I want to get in bed with you. I mean, I want to understand how this whole process works, because I feel like, it's like every good idea that I have ever had over the last 30 years. And I'm not one of those guys that's a fly-by-night guy. I've had a career for 30 years, and then I changed to another career in the podcast production business and loving this environment so very much. And then I start hearing like all of the excitement of like this, like the new growth, the new thing. And I get very excited when I see guys like you put a program in, and I'm not saying that in any kind of derogatory or disrespectful manner. I mean, see successful guys like you grab hold of an idea and just run like hell with it and do really well. When I first was approached with the idea of you coming on the show, I think this might have been over a month ago or so, there was seven of your locations. And now you've just said, hey, we got 21, and maybe I misunderstood the number. You said 300 of them have been pre-sold.
360. Yeah.
360. So that means you've collected cash, or you're in the process of interviewing 360 people that have stepped up to the plate and said, I want to take a part of this.
So those are signed contracts, signed deals with those 360.
So are you ready to be like a billionaire? I mean, is that what happens next? What happens next? I get so excited for you.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of stress before that comes though. I mean, we're rolling with it, right? I mean, opening up, we're on track for all metrics that I've seen to be the fastest retail franchise number measured in number of retail units open, because selling them is one thing, and that's impressive what we've done. Definitely top 0.1%. But the rate at which we're opening them is even more impressive. And so how are we doing that? And it's stressful as hell and all of that. But we've developed the most simplistic food franchise model that I believe has existed. We take all of it starts kind of at a centralized production facility. So we're like the competition. Yeah. They're ordering 50-pound bags of flour through a third-party vendor. We order truckloads of flour at a time. So our cost of goods are like right off the bat 20, 30% lower. Then we mix thousands of cookies at a time with professional bakers. The competition does teenagers mixing 60 cookies at a time. Then the competition portions it all by hand. Inconsistent, time-consuming, expensive. We run it through machines, which also give us a very unique cookie, which is like we have the world's only and greatest 3-layer cookie. It's a peanut butter cookie on the outside.
Dude, you're talking my language
in the middle, hot fudge in the very center, right? And we have tons of varieties of these 3-layer cookies. Then we freeze these dough pucks, ship them out to the franchises. And now the franchises, all you have to do is put a cookie puck in the oven, time, temperature, fan speed. It's all the same for every single cookie. We've really simplified it. So that allows our franchisees to operate out of, less than 1,000 square feet, one or two employees, very minimal waste. Just, again, we're just trying to simplify everything. So make it Bennett proof, because I'm not a smart guy. So if I could run it, anybody can run it. But
don't undersell yourself. Don't undersell yourself, because I know you're saying that with all due respect, and again, very humbling comment. I mean, everybody wants to be Bennett proof. Everybody, every idea. My dad always used to say to me as I was growing up, and ultra entrepreneur growing up, he always said, create a system, document how you've created the system, and then duplicate how you have documented, the system that you have documented, and teach other people how to do the same thing. And they will beat a path to you to pay you to do that, because you've already done all the hard work. You've done the guesswork for them. You've Bennett proofed what things everybody else wants to Bennett proof too, but they just haven't figured out the Bennett. They haven't figured out that Bennett is a key component in Bennett proofing the entire process.
Yeah, no, it's just simplicity. And I think a lot of us are the cookie guy, right? So you start with grandma's recipe and you love it and you can't make changes, and then the branding and the company's your baby. Well, I'm pretty emotionally detached from the business because it was a purchase, right? I will change whatever makes our franchisee successful.
It's like, fuck it. It's not profitable. I'm not doing it. It's got to be a good product, but it also got to be profitable.
You don't like that cookie? If you show me 100 other people that don't like that cookie's gone. It's never coming back. Like it's not what I like. It's what is the best product and system for our franchisees. So I think that also lended to a lot of the success. Everything is up for change because there's no emotion attached to anything. There's no, this is my baby. It's like, no, this is a for-profit business. And in order to do that, I have to have the best system for franchisees. Franchisees have to be super successful. And if they're successful, then that trickles back up to me, years down the road. But that's definitely what I'm focused on.
I always look at this and I'm thinking, as I'm hearing your story, it's like I want to be the national spokesperson for the brand. I want to be. I don't even want you to pay for sponsorship. Just pay me in cookies, because I think again, I'm going to be self-serving here. I think we have a really attractive audience for the message that you're sharing, not just for the retail customer, but actually for the franchisee, for the person that wants to buy your franchise. And I'm like, look, let's attach a commission to any franchise that I sell for you. And I will talk the hell out of it because I just think it's such a great idea. I was listening to you on another podcast. I think it was the one on your website where you have the video too. It's like cookies are like comforting. People love cookies. They love the business opportunity that your buy-in is. I mean, are you okay with sharing numbers? Is that cool if you share numbers with them? So can you share like what a franchise would cost or what kind of maintenance fees, or I don't know how franchising works. So maybe just share some of the numbers that are involved.
Yeah. So there's a franchise fee up front, $50,000. And then the rest is, here's a 115-step process on how to find every vendor. I mean, it's all we've done 99% of the work of it. All in, including opening inventory and the franchise fee. Most of them are opening up for mid 200s, which is about a third of the competition, because you don't need the mixers, you don't need the larger space. So yeah, I would say, and there's people that are paying cash and buying 5 at a time, and there's people that are putting down $50,000 and getting an SBA loan with our preferred SBA lender to fund the rest of it. So a pretty low barrier of entry compared to other businesses. And then we also have a mobile franchise model, so you can buy a food truck or a trailer. It's even half the cost of that. So a few different options. And that kind of comes down to one of the pillars to achieve the mission statement, which is all about finding joy and fulfillment despite life's dirtiness. So finding joy and fulfillment now, not waiting for life to be perfect, is empowering others through entrepreneurship by decreasing and lowering those barrier of entries so more people can, take a stab at entrepreneurship.
All right. So for those of you that are in our Nice Guy community and you're listening to this, just know that as of, today is May 31st. Those are the prices that he is quoting on the franchise on May 31st. I guarantee you in 60 days, it's not going to be the same. This episode's going to be out in 3 weeks. He will honor the franchise cost for literally 1 week. Can I say that? Can I say that?
You can say that.
He will honor the cost. If you shoot this thing up to $1 million in the next 60 days, my community might have a harder time believing. I mean, shit, he was 200,000 just a little bit ago, all in. But don't worry about the dollars. Talk to Bennett, and the best way to do that, I'm going to give you access directly in the show notes to his website, but it's bennettmaxwell.com, just so you have an idea of that, of what it's all about. Also, if you want to take a look at from the retail side of what the cookies look like, dirtydoughcookies.com, and again, we'll put a link in the show notes for that as well. I just, your enthusiasm towards your brand, how you've come about getting into this business, I love that. I always told everybody I was a business guy turned DJ, not a DJ turned business guy, when I spent 30 years as a bar mitzvah MC. And I was in a world where I was making $5,000 to do a gig where the competition was making $500. And everybody would say, well, how do you do that? I'm like, because I love Up on My Customer for the year that it takes to plan this, not just the 4 hours of doing their event. You guys aren't just good cookie people, you're good business people too. So maybe share a little bit about, some of the successes that you've had in other businesses that you bring to the cookie business, so people understand, hey, look, I'm not just trying to churn franchises here so I can sell one so it'll fail so I'll buy it back from them. You're actually want people to be successful in the business as well. So tell us what you do.
I mean, my background before that at a solar company, it was pretty quick. I built it and sold it within 18 months. I'm not the expert in food or franchising, but what I did is I built the team. We have a board of advisors. We started with a guy named John Richards. His first company was InfoSpace. It was a $30 billion company. Then we brought on Steve Hart, who's the owner of Property Management Inc., largest property management franchisor in the nation. Then Eric Van Horn, his largest franchise podcast. He's been a franchisor or franchisee. More recently, we have the former CEO of Jimmy John's. And right now, he owns his own fund that owns 11 portfolio companies, all food franchisor brands. Just getting the right people on the advisory level and then also in the business, starting with the CEO, Jill Summer Hayes. The month we franchised, which was 18 months ago, she was hired as CEO. She started a company called Maui Wowie Smoothies and Coffee in 1983. This is her 40th year as CEO or founder of a food franchisor brand. Her first company, it was over 650 open locations. But what I love about that, now this is 40 years, and she's had franchisees that have stuck with her for 40 years because she created such a good low-cost model. And nobody runs a business really for 40 years, right? Most of them are passing these on to their kids. That's the dream of mine. How do we create a model that the overhead is so low waste, low cost of goods, low labor, that this does weather the storms and weathers those recessions, so we can create generational wealth for our franchisees.
Talk to me, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to glean over all of that cool stuff about the 40-year, veteran in the franchising world, but you started to kind of list who your advisors and almost like your board of directors for what you do and how you do it. And talk to the entrepreneurs that are out there in my audience for just a second, the importance of aligning yourself, and then the actual, how do you find those people and how do you get them to say yes, that I'd be willing to sit on the board? Do you need past experience, past success in order for those people to sit on the board, or could anybody start approaching people and say, hey, I want you to be on my advisory board?
The latter. I mean, anybody can. I didn't know about this. I sold my solar company and my buddy's like, hey, fly out to this startup course. It was called Startup Ignition. They do it in Utah once a quarter. And it was John Richards, this guy that's had multiple businesses of himself, or he's been an advisor and investor in a lot of other multi-billion-dollar businesses and several $100 million businesses. So he's teaching me about advisory boards and cap tables and board of directors and vesting and all. And I was like, I just built and sold a company. I didn't know freaking any of this
right.
Because I was a small business owner, and he teaches you how to be a scalable business owner. It's a 3-day startup course, changed my world. And it's like, well, how do I get an advisor for a company that's not making any money? I don't have any money to pay this guy. And he goes, no, you don't need that. You offer him a small amount of equity over a 2-year vesting period. So, and what he recommended is 1.5% equity over a 2-year vesting period for your senior advisor. And then you go find a few other advisors, depending on the stage of your business. You're giving them 0.25%, maybe up to 1%. It's like, you're telling me I can get like all-stars on my board for 1% equity in a company that's worth shit? Like, what?
No,
so
I
at
get
that
it.
point, it comes to pitching the vision, right? This is the competition. This is where they're going. This is why my model's better. I sold John on it. Then John sold Steve Hart to come in as the next one. And then now I have these 2 all-star advisors.
Yeah,
so
now the advisors are helping
Jill,
people. Now the advisors
I'm like,
are helping
Jill,
you.
Look at these guys. They believe in me. Well, you should believe in me too. And she's like, okay, I'll be the CEO, right? And then I go with Jill and I'm like, hey, Greg, you were the CEO of Jimmy John's. How about you come on? And then I go to Scott Abbott, he owns 5-Star Franchising. They've done 15 franchisor brands and had tons of successful exits. Look at all these other people that are believing in me, right? But it's kind of just feeding off of each other. You get one and you leverage their name to get the second one and and so for a few percent, I have an all-star board, and nobody's buying franchises from Bennett Maxwell because Bennett Maxwell doesn't know franchising or food. People are buying franchises from John and from Jill and from Steve Hart. And, they're buying from the team that I've assembled. They're not buying them from me.
No, I totally get it. I mean, those guys bought into your vision and your excitement and your enthusiasm, but they're really the pitch kings and queens because they've already been through this before. They have the connections. Yes. They also know the people. What was the name of the course that you took? Because I'd love to pitch the course also, and even for myself, I'd love to sit in on it too.
Startup Ignition, and they usually do it in Utah around the Salt Lake City area. No joke, it was like the number one thing that changed, and I took it twice because it was so much freaking information. 3-day in-person course. I think it's like $2,000 is all for you and a business partner. But the cool thing is, it's not about the course. They don't care about the money because these guys are loaded and they have all their funds. Right. It's just to make sure that entrepreneurs are taking it seriously. But you get 3 months of free access to him anytime. You can book. You get a calendar link with a dude that's worth more money than most people you know, and he knows every, at least in the Utah area, everybody's worth 100 million to $1 billion. He's got their cell phone numbers. So it's like, I'll pay for that connection. Aside from the knowledge. Startup Ignition.
That sounds great. I mean, again, we'll do a little research on that. And if you're okay with it, Bennett, I'd love to put a link to that in the show notes as well.
For sure. It changes lives. I've had 2 of my siblings that own businesses and one that doesn't even own a business. I made him go to it. I was like, you have to do this. This is better than an MBA. Not that I have an MBA. I'm a college dropout, but
so
I make up things all the time.
No worries, man. No worries. Hey, look, that's the benefit of the entrepreneurial space. So fast forward this thing and blue sky it, 5 years, 10 years from now, what is the hope? Because I know you have some causes that you actually want to support as well in this process. So if this really hits, or when this really hits big time, you have the ability to help fund that as well. So maybe just share a little bit of your vision for that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're already doing it right now. Never turn down a nonprofit, even when we don't have any freaking money. We'll donate cookies, we'll sponsor whatever for nonprofits, especially. But what we're doing is the messaging behind the cookies. And because I'm very big into, I'm never going to touch a business if it's not purpose-based. I believe I need that. I believe my employees need that. I believe franchisees need that and customers need it. Everybody wants to give back. They just don't know how. So the messaging, I described that 3-layer cookie. So we focus on the inside of the cookie and it's dirty dough, right? These cookies are dirty and messy and it's a representation of life, and that life isn't perfect, but it's okay. It's still meant to be enjoyed because the inside is what matters most. So it's directly combating the Instagram, like, oh, you have to be perfect to be happy. It's like, no, you don't. Happiness can be had, right now. And every cookie that we do is stuffed full of everything. And then all of the messaging around our cookies is the inside matters most. Life is Sweet Foundation is our nonprofit. We care about your feelings and touch with our feelings. Life gets messy and that's okay. It's all over the packaging, the stores, the branding, everywhere. But what we're doing is I wanted to actually put money back into the local communities. So every franchise we open, we will give a grant to a K-12 school nearby. You get a small classroom and you convert it to a mental health wellness center where kids can come in, they identify emotions, which is very important. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling sad, mad, anxious, happy, depressed, whatever. Scale from 1 to 10. Then you pick an activity, a science-based activity that's free, typically, that you can do at your house, guided meditation, breath work, gratitude mindset, different posturing exercises, even just a fidget spinner, right? Like whatever that is. And then you you do that for 10, 15 minutes, your timer goes up, and then you identify how you're feeling on the way out. So now guided meditation doesn't work for me because I have ADHD and my brain gets distracted, but I can do breath work because that's something I can focus on, right? Whatever the case is, but it's teaching kids what emotions are and how to regulate those. It's not a safe space to protect kids from bullies, right? Not that it's not that, but you're going to get bullied. How do you regulate those emotions when it happens? Because it's going to get worse after you leave high school, right? After you leave junior high. When you get into the business world, that's where the real bullies come in.
I love this. I love your message. I love that you're the real deal. I knew as soon as I booked this, I'm like, this is right. I mean, this is the right thing. We get pitched probably 75 to 100 times a week to get on our show. And very few get through the maze. As soon as I saw cookie, and then I read just a sentence about your story, I'm like, I've got to have this guy on the show. He just seems like he's like a fascinating guy, and you did not disappoint. I so very much appreciate it. And I'm hoping I am going to hold your feet to the fire, maybe to a certain degree. I'd love to, when the smoke clears just a teeny little bit for you, I'd love to have a follow-up conversation, figure out how we can represent what you do and how we can share what you do with more of my community. Because I just think it's just such a great thing and it's such a fun environment for you to be in. Hey, and if we can make a couple of bucks and sell a franchise or two for you, I wouldn't mind that either. But you sound like you're on a pretty good path. You don't need our fucking help on that one. Like that's okay though.
No, let's chat. Let's definitely chat. Entrepreneurs, startups, everything's on the table. Just going a million miles an hour right now.
I hear you. Bennett, man, thank you so much for sharing. For those in our community, make sure you do check out the show notes, bennettmaxwell.com or dirtydoughcookies.com. I'm also going to go right to your website and buy a bunch of them and have them sent to my house because I need to have some of the, you ship, right? You ship?
We do ship. If you wait 1 or 2 days, we have a protein cookie. And I'm telling you, it's the best protein cookie you've ever had. 25 grams of protein. Can't even taste it. We also have a gluten-free cookie that I've been told by a bajillion people are gluten-friendly, that it is the best gluten-friendly cookie on the market. So
it's hard if somebody said, no, it's not gluten-free, it's gluten-friendly because they are baked in an oven that has gluten in there too, but it's primarily gluten-free, right? Is that what you want?
That's exactly what it is.
I'm sure.
It's the liability. We have done the test, and we can, as long as we know that these teenagers are going to use the right spatulas, then we can say certified gluten-free. But for liability, I'm just saying gluten-friendly.
I understand. Bennett, thank you for sharing. Thanks for being on the show, and thanks for sharing your message. I love what you're all about, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice or the power of a really dirty cookie. Special thanks to Bennett Maxwell. All of his information will be right there in the show notes. Go ahead and click the show notes. It's right there. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For the nice guys on business, I'm Steve O'Brien. And may the force be with them. They need all the help they can get.